People, what's up? What's good? Thank you all again for tuning in to another edition of our Millennial Master Class Series. About to get this thing started.
Yo, yo.
What's
Oh my
up
God.
with you, man?
What's up, bro?
Hey, I appreciate you, man, coming on. I appreciate it for
Hey,
real.
no problem, man. I appreciate you having me.
Anytime, man. Anytime. How you been?
I've been good, man. Just steady out here grinding, trying to put the content out, get
I
right.
hear
You
you.
know what I'm saying?
I hear you, bro. I'm trying too, man. I'm trying too. Dylan, I got a lot of questions, man. The sports world is crazy right now.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this. So everybody get this thing started, man.
All right, let's do it.
Dylan, man, I know COVID right now is a big thing, but before we even start talking about that, you just had a discussion with Bubba Wallace, and right now he's been all throughout the headlines, man. What are your thoughts on NASCAR and the whole situation with the noose, all of that?
I mean, it was a sad situation to see that, Bubba Wallace had to go through that. He's already going through a lot with, obviously speaking out about NASCAR, being probably the main reason, why the Confederate flag got banned.
Yeah,
And, he's got a lot of pressure on him right now. He's got, some people upset, and he's got, pressure to, keep up the hopes of other people. He's bringing a lot of new fans for NASCAR, including myself. So he's got that pressure on him. He's got other people looking at him sideways,
yeah,
and and just for that to add on to it, and the media obviously is circulating around that and asking him a lot of questions about that. Just when I was on that conference call with him, he seemed tired, worn down. I mean, he was still very graceful, very
yeah.
eloquent in answering all his questions. But you could tell he's just been through a lot, and so I feel for him for sure. But
Peace.
he's doing what he can, man, and I salute him for that.
Yeah, bro, I feel that. And Dylan, do you feel like NASCAR has done enough, or do you feel as though they're kind of being like all the Fortune 500 companies and just jumping on the Black Lives Matter wave?
No, I feel like NASCAR is doing what they're supposed to do. So today, Bubba Wallace was on a conference call, and then yesterday, the president of NASCAR, Steve Phelps, was on a call as well, and I was on that call, and he was very
Oh,
sincere with words. They were wrapping up. They were, closing all the things, putting all out the facts of the FBI investigation about the noose. And he laid down all the facts, what happened. He even was apologetic for saying that it was a hate crime, and she said it still said alleged. I'm not even mad at him for saying it's a hate crime,
yeah,
because even if that noose was there since last year, a lot of good points have been made about well, how was Bubba Wallace? That was the only noose at that garage. There were
mm,
11 other garages that had regular knots, and Bubba Wallace just so happened to get the one with the noose. That don't seem like a coincidence. So I'm not
at
even
all.
calling it a hate crime, because how did he get that one garage with the noose, even if it was there before they came in? So, but yeah, the president was very sincere in his words. He thanked Bubba Wallace for being such a leader during these
Yeah.
past weeks, standing up for what he believes in, standing up for what's right. So I think NASCAR has done everything they need to do during this time, during the climate,
Hmm.
that this country is in. So I definitely take my hat off to NASCAR for everything they've done so far.
I feel that, bro. And Dylan, man, for you to have even been in those rooms, to have even interviewed Bubba Wallace, let's backtrack real quick. How did you get started in sports journalism to now to be at the point to be talking to these people on an everyday basis? How'd that
I'm
start?
I mean, it's honestly, a lot of luck. I've been, graced enough to meet some great people who have put me in some great spots, to meet some other great people.
Yeah.
And yourself as well, being in the entertainment industry. Like,
Hmm.
it's all about connections, all
Yeah.
about collaborating, all that great stuff. So, just going back forward, it started back, when I was coming out of high school. Sandy Creek, you already know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, shout out to SC, man.
Uh,
You know the
so
vibes.
going into college at West Georgia. So
Yeah.
went in right away. I found the Wolf Internet Radio. That's West Georgia's radio station. Started off volunteering my freshman year. So first semester I was a volunteer. Second semester, I actually ended up getting a job, only like $50 a month, but it was
Wow.
you know we need all we can get while we're in college.
Hmm.
But started off, so I trained the new people my second semester, my freshman year. And then going into my sophomore year, the current sports director at that time left, So I was gracious enough and blessed enough to get that sports director role. So I was a sports director of the radio station going in my sophomore year until I graduated. So I ended up connecting with some good people, you know, making some moves, and ended up getting when I got out of college, I ended up being able to get a remote tech job for iHeartMedia. So going out to different events and concerts, things like that, you know, doing remote things, remote production. Had some success with that and got plugged in on the game where I'm a part-time producer now, and, you know, met some good people over there, and, you know, still trying to make some stuff shake.
My guy, bro, for you, it's only the beginning, Dylan, like, for real, man. And even question about this real quick, man. Do you feel like there's enough young people of color, young black people in sports journalism? And if so, I guess when I watch like the ESPNs and First Taken or First Things First or Undisputed or even like The Herd, I'm like, bro, the people who I know who are in this field, like you and so many others, I'm like, bro, they would tear up somebody like Colin Coward right now on TV. Or like they would tear up Stephen A. Smith or Marcellus Wiley. So, Dylan, personally, do you ever get frustrated and feel like we as young black millennials in entertainment or in sports journalism don't get enough shine sometimes?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I definitely think, and even, you know, not young people, old people, you know, I definitely feel like young people for sure, just to answer your question, we definitely don't get the shot we need, especially first starting out. You know, it's definitely a thing in the entertainment industry where you got to pay your dues. You don't know how long you're going to be paying your dues for, and sometimes too long. But yeah, we definitely don't get enough shots. And, you know, like for right now, I think young people are, you know, we're finding out new ways to do things. People always, you know, trying to hate on millennials and stuff like that. And millennials, you know, are lazy, things like that. And I don't necessarily think that's always the case. You know, a lot of times we just found ways to be more efficient in doing certain things where, you know, some people are old fashioned. They think, you know, everything has to be done one way when there's multiple ways to get something done the right way, or multiple ways effective doing something, you know, whether it's putting out content or delivering a message, you know, whatever it may be. There's multiple ways to do things. And I think, you know, some older people are stuck in that. But going back to the industry, I mean, I've seen it multiple times to just where a lot of times when, say, a new role opens up, you know, even before the other person even gets fired, you know, they already got another, even when those talks begin, they already got in mind who's going to take place. So even if you get an interview somewhere, something like that, you know, a lot of times they already got who they want to replace that other person in mind, and they already got them up next. So we definitely don't get shots that we should. And so it's hard out here, but that's why you got to work. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, you got to create your own lane, like you doing with the 3 Milli Pod. You know, it's so great to create your own thing, because then you see the opportunity start coming to you. When you build your own thing ground up, you know, that's when the opportunities start coming to you. You don't have to, you see yourself not having to apply to 1,000 jobs. You see opportunities coming to you, people reaching out to you. So that's why it's so great to start your own thing. And that's why, you know, I tip my cap to you and so many people creating their own outlet and doing their own thing and building up, you know, their own brand.
Likewise, bro. And speaking on people having their own platforms, you and Simone, I've been binge watching everything like all day. I love it. Y'all keep doing what y'all are doing as well, because it's needed. And bro, something that y'all were talking about, and I loved hearing this discussion because I've been saying this, and I don't have a sports talk show, so now I get to talk sports with you. It's just with Cap and with me, I'm a logical person. And I felt like when I'm watching The Herd, or if I'm watching Stephen A. Smith or Marcellus Wiley hating on Cap and saying, oh, he's not that good, or he's not this, he's not that. And then I'm like, bro, he was just in the Super Bowl in 2012, 2013. Exactly. And then in 2016, he had 16 touchdowns and only 4 picks with a 90 QBR. He was better than what Kirk Cousins is. He's better than what Dak Prescott. So then, like, when I hear these people say, oh, but there's no starting jobs in the league for him, or even for him to compete for. But then I think about Jacksonville, like Gardner Minshew, he's not a real quarterback. Or Mitchell Trubisky in Chicago, or even Nick Foles in Chicago. Or if you go to LA, like Tyrod Taylor, are we serious? So how do you feel as somebody who is a sports savant when you hear people say, yo, Cap, he's not that good, and they use that as an excuse?
I mean, trying to use that as an excuse, I would tell that person straight up, go look at the numbers. Go look at Cap. I mean, just look at it. I mean, you laid it down perfectly. 2012, 2013, back-to-back NFC Championship, Super Bowl appearance. 2016, you laid it down perfectly. The touchdown to interception ratio, crazy. Colin Kaepernick was a playmaker. Me and Simone were saying this in the video. He's a playmaker. He's not a game manager like Mitchell Trubisky barely is, like
Yep.
Nick Foles is, like these other quarterbacks are. I mean, it's crazy how people think he's not a starting quarterback in the league. And I will tell anybody straight up, if Mitchell Trubisky, if he can start for the Chicago Bears, you can't tell me Colin Kaepernick can't start for the Chicago Bears. Come on now. That's just ridiculous. So we know what it's all about. Whether you want to draw a blind eye to it or not, we know why Colin Kaepernick still isn't in the league. He's being blackballed.
Yep.
We've got some, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. We got some racist owners in there who are too worried about their bottom line and don't want to take the risk on Cap. No, he could do some great things for their football team and get them some wins. They must.
That's big facts, bro. And speaking on those racist owners, specifically Jerry Jones. Shout out to my man Joe Teron, who's one of the biggest Cowboy fans I know. But we always joke every single time about the Cowboys because, yes, it's one of the, I don't want to say the coolest, but it's one of the most profitable, recognizable sports franchises ever, hands down. But when you look at Jerry Jones, you get the old plantation vibes. And especially with seeing how he co-opted the movement, how he tried to take a knee with the players before the national anthem, and then how he said he would cut any player who took a knee. And then now during this time, he's been completely quiet. But any other time dealing with NFL matters, he has a lot to say. So how do you feel like we should combat racist ownership, but still as well be NFL fans? Do you feel like that's even possible?
Man, that's really tough. To be honest, I don't know if it is possible because anytime we support the NFL, whether it's watching it, because, you know, the more views they get, the more sponsors they get, more money in the owner's pockets ultimately is what it boils down to. So it's hard to be an NFL fan while trying to combat the racist owners as well. So honestly, I don't think it is possible. The only thing I think there's one thing that we can do to maybe combat it, and that's, you know, still peacefully protest, show that we're not going to be stopped from, you know, sending our message, putting our message out there. And we can't stop challenging the owners. We have to keep challenging the owners because that's the only way the change is going to come. And ultimately, if it boils down to it, we might have to just, you know, do it where we know some changes be brought. If we do it this way, is hurt the owners' pockets. If we pockets hit them where it really hurts, then we might see some change. But hopefully, you know, if we just keep challenging them, keep speaking out, keep, you know, using our voice, and the athletes use their platforms to speak out on social justice and social reform, then hopefully we can get something done that way as well. But, you know, it ultimately might come down to, you know, just having to boycott the NFL, which I would hate because I'm an NFL fan at heart. You know, I'm a
me too.
fan, but I don't see any other way.
Facts, bro. Facts. And again, staying on the NFL, something else as well. Do you feel like that there will be an NFL season? Because I was just talking to my dad about this. In genuine heart of hearts, I believe that there won't be any football. About to share this back with Dylan. See if we can get him back on. See if we can get Dylan back on. Let's see. Y'all just bear with us for 1 second. Send the request back out to Dylan. See if it works.
Sorry,
Hey, they was trying to hold us back, man.
my phone. Nah, that was my phone. My phone was acting crazy, but we're
You
back now.
good? You good, man? But yes, Dylan, do you believe that there will be an NFL season? I was just talking to my pops about this.
Yeah.
I told him, logistically, it just doesn't make sense because when we start incorporating plane rides to different cities all
Yeah.
across the country, college football, you're not going to have 100,000 people at a Michigan football game. You're not going to have 50 to 60,000 at UGA.
Right.
I just don't see it being possible. How do you feel about it?
I don't see how it's possible without multiple people contracting COVID-19.
Yep.
But when it comes to, I'll touch on college football first. When it comes to college football, I just don't see how the NCAA. We know how money hungry they are, and I just don't see how they allow themselves to miss out on the college football season. Not to say it's right, because I don't think it's right, because you don't want to put people's livelihoods at stake, people's lives in danger. But I just don't see how they allow themselves to skip a whole college football season, miss out on $1 billion production as what the college football season is. So I think they'll make it happen. Will it be safe? I don't think so. I don't think it'll be safe. I think the safest route to go is to just not have a season. Same for the NFL. I think the safest thing to do is not have an NFL season, but I can't see them missing out on the NFL season either. Now, what I can see, though, I think they'll both end up having no fans the whole entire season. I can definitely see them doing that. I only see it on TV, maybe pumping in crowd noise. I've heard commentators like Joe Buck already talking about, the NFL talking about pumping in crowd noise. So I think they'll do that and have no fans, which is smart. That'll definitely help. But still, have all those fans, and especially college football and football just overall, it has a lot of personnel, the players, all the coaches, general manager, front office, game day staff, just everything. I mean, it's just I don't see how you can have all that personnel, and those personnel, even if you put them in a bubble, there's still a huge risk there. And when you just put it to a numbers game, a numbers test, it'll be hard to not see how an outbreak happens within, whether it's a bubble or what have you. But so I don't see how possibly they could manage it. But they're thinking of ways. So I think both the NFL season and the college football season will happen. Whether it gets played all the way through, I have no idea. But I think they'll make it happen, at least to start.
Yo, that's crazy, man. Crowd noise. And I feel like if we get to that point, is it really even necessary?
Right.
Because for the players themselves, I know that they won't feel any energy because it feels like a scrimmage or a practice.
Exactly. Especially, for like college football and even the NFL too. I feel like they're both so predicated on, energy of the crowd and, just getting that, being pumped up, with that noise. And if they know it's even if they pump in crowd noise, with the players knowing it's fabricated, they won't get that same vibe. They won't have that same energy. So will it perfect the on-field performance too? And if it affects the on-field performance, is it gonna be, something good to watch? Are people gonna, start looking away and start looking at something else, looking to watch something else? So you got to start thinking about that too. Is it going to be a good enough on-product field, on-field products that people are going to watch? Who knows? Maybe we'll be so hungry for sports at that point that we won't care. But it's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, bro. And speaking on the consumers, I feel like right now with this movement of Black Lives Matter, I love it. And it's affecting NASCAR, as we see, NBA, NFL, MLB, you name it. Anything that starts with an M, N, or F is being affected by Black Lives Matter. Do you think that it's our best interest right now, especially for the athletes, just to say, especially the black athletes, to just take a step back and look at the bigger picture and say, y'all, I think it's better if we just put a pause on sports and focus on this real movement, and sports can just happen next year?
I think so. I mean, because it's a kind of a perfect storm for, just the seasons to be put on hold. And, I mean, we've heard, Lou Will, Dwight Howard speak out, just to name a few, talking about just now is not the right time. Obviously the coronavirus and just what's going on with this, with this Black Lives Matter movement. I love it as well. We need to focus on that. And if we show that, that we're serious about not giving the people what they want until we see a change, then I think a faster change will come. Obviously, we have a long way to go. Society has a long way to go before we get better. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen over 1, 2, 3, maybe even 3, 4 NFL, NBA seasons, whatever. But still, a change will come faster if we show that we're serious about this. And, if players show they're willing to sacrifice their livelihood, they're willing to sacrifice their games, willing to sacrifice a chance at a championship, then, that'll show the owners, the media, whoever, that they're serious, and they're not going to put themselves back out there to entertain you until the correct change is brought about.
I love that. And bro, man, as well, I've been seeing with schools like Ole Miss or Mississippi State or even Clemson's players are challenging the system. And I feel like that sparks a deeper conversation where you just said, hey, we're not here to entertain y'all. Do you feel like black athletes who bring in all the talent, all the money, notoriety, should maybe start directing their talents towards HBCUs?
Oh, for sure. I mean, HBCUs, first of all, they have loyal fans, great atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I mean, you want to be able to give back to, to those, those black colleges, things like that. And, I think it'll help boost them up. I mean, the predominantly white schools, I think, they've made their money. They'll be good. They'll still have the athletes to go there. So, even if we have, a quarter, definitely half of the athletes go there. It doesn't have to be all of them, but if you have a quarter, half, just enough to make the HBCUs competitive, put them on the map. That's all they need. And then the rest will take over from theirs. And even the playing field for them, give them their money. Because you see a lot of these, HBCUs don't have the same funding. A lot of them don't have the same funding, don't have the same resources. And that's why they can't bring in those recruits. So it just takes, a small movement of recruits, a small movement of athletes to just get things rolling. And then, we'll see an avalanche quickly, and then the HBCUs will get on the map. We'll see them get in big conferences, maybe even start a new conference, a new big, add to the Power 5 conferences. And so that would be great, let them flourish. So I think it definitely is important for, the black athletes to, even if you don't go to HBCU, at least go see what it's about. At least take a visit.
Yeah.
I mean, what can it hurt to take a visit? Just something, just at least give it a chance.
Yep. That's agreed, bro. And I think that is something that could change as well. Like, that's revolutionary. And I feel like when I see people like Mikey Williams, right, talking about, of course, I'm NBA talent, but if I had to go to college, HBCU.
I go to HBCU.
Because, Dylan, man, especially in sports, I'm tired of seeing our athletes being exploited. And I feel like that can just open up a gateway. It can create generational wealth for these HBCUs, jobs, all that stuff. And two, I think that could change with the head coaching process in the NFL. So what I mean by that is, when I see somebody like an Eric Bieniemy, right? #1 offense in the league multiple years with the Chiefs.
Right.
Doesn't even get the head coaching job with the Panthers, but Matt Rule does. But then he could go to Howard and he could become a head coach, and then they can pay you. And then you could be at Howard for decades.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that could change with head coaches overnight. And then two, bro, when it comes to the NFL, do you feel like when it comes to our NFL coaching, when I see Byron Leftwich, Eric Bieniemy, Todd Bowles, you remember Steve Wilkes, how he got fired after 1 year of being with the Cardinals?
1 year.
And they didn't even give him any talent. He had nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
He had trash around him. That team was trash. What did you expect him to do in that one season?
But then Cliff Kingsbury comes in. You give him Kyler Murray right now. Y'all just traded for a DeAndre Hopkins. Like, bro, where was this?
Exactly.
Where was this a year ago?
Right. So, where were these resources for Steve Wilkes?
Man, so do you feel like NFL coaches, or I wouldn't say NFL coaches, but black offensive coordinators or black NFL personnel should take a step back and maybe just go to HBCUs and just prove themselves there? And heck, even like if they have to stay there, just stay there. Like Louis Riddick, I feel like he should have been getting calls to be an NFL GM. What's the guy, man? I can't even think of his name. He did the mock drafts for NFL.
You're not talking about
GM of the Raiders right now.
He's what?
GM of the Oakland or Las Vegas Raiders now.
Oh, I'm having a hard time thinking of his name too. I can't think of it.
But anyways, I can't think of his name at all. But the fact that he was on NFL Network, no GM personnel, real experience. He was just like a scout. But he becomes the GM of the Raiders. But Louis Riddick has real front office experience. Exactly. And he hasn't got any GM calls. Yeah. So, Dylan, do you feel like it's best just for our black, talented NFL personnel to just stand up for themselves and say, yo, I'm going to go where I'm appreciated?
Exactly. Go where you're wanted. And then, again, too, another point, they could draw in they could get so much money from them. they'll be appreciated. They'll get the bag they deserve,
Yeah.
and then they'll draw in the talent, and then that could be a whole I can't think of the word I want to use, but that could be a whole snowball effect for, you draw in the athletes too, draw in the recruits. You got the big name coaches, and you can start building up those programs, getting that talent in. And then, with the black coaches start going to the HBCUs, they can reach those athletes who a lot of times are minorities, who are African American. Draw them like, hey, I know how to make it to.
Hey, they're really messing with us today, man. They're giving Dylan a hard time. We're gonna get Dylan back on. Give my man Dylan a hard time. Thank y'all for being patient. We're gonna get him back on. All right, we back, y'all. Let's get to it. Send a request to my man Dylan. He was trying to hold us back, but it's all good. It's all good. Make sure to follow us. Shout out to my man Nick. All right, we about to get going. IG was holding us back. Can't wait to get back to in-person interviews. This technology getting crazy. Send this request to my man Dylan. And we're gonna get going. All right, Dylan, let's do it.
All right,
Hey,
we back
in there.
We back in business now. Had to change scenes, but we back in business now.
Hey, it's all good.
So the technical difficulties can stop.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. But yeah, Dylan, man, again, when it comes to coaching, with our black coaches, the black personnel, everybody who's involved, I think overall it probably is just best for us to just do for ourselves, because I think that we're not being appreciated. Like, again, when I see somebody like Steve Wilkes get fired after 1 year, like that right there was ridiculous. Absurd. 1 year. But then I see somebody like Colin Cowherd, talking about Adam Gase is good for the Jets.
Right. Come on now.
And then,
and then Adam Gase couldn't even keep his best player. Now we got these talks of Jamal Adams wanting to leave. Like, so you got coaches like, like you said, Adam Gase can't keep their best player around, one of their franchise players. So, but Steve Wilkes gets fired after a year? No resources? Like, it's just not fair out here, man. It's not fair. And it's too obvious.
We don't even get a chance. And then we get reports. All right, so for instance, right, when I see somebody like, I think his last name was Judge. I've never even heard of him, who got hired by the Giants.
Oh, Joe Judge. Yeah, Joe Judge.
Like, bro, a special teams coordinator. But then Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, not Andy Reid.
Right.
The Chiefs have the #1 offense, best quarterback in the league, and he does not get a head coaching job.
He don't even get an interview? Like, come on now, what?
But Zach Taylor gets a head coaching job with the Bengals. Matt LaFleur gets hired by the Packers.
Right.
Just because he was with Sean McVay. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And Joe Judge never been a coordinator, nothing like
Special
that.
Teams.
Special teams coordinator, nothing, never been an OC, DC, nothing. Just special teams coordinator. Like, come on now. Like, what?
Something has to change.
Something has to change. We're not getting the right opportunities that we should. I mean, it's not like it's just African Americans who are on the come up. It's African Americans who have resumes, who have done it before.
Yeah.
And they're not getting the opportunities they deserve. It's just crazy. And then the white people like Joe Judge, Matt LaFleur, that sort of thing, who don't have the same caliber resumes are getting the jobs. It doesn't make any sense.
Yo, you preaching. And again, on the NFL, this is one topic that I've been excited all day to talk about with you and discuss is Cam. I feel like people have talked about Cat being blackballed. I feel like Cam Newton is being blackballed.
Yeah.
And two, when I look at the landscape of NFL QBs, and I look at Jacksonville, you cannot tell me Cam cannot start in Jacksonville. Right. I look in LA before the draft, pre-draft. That was a no-brainer for me. Like with the weapons that he would have on the outside, Hunter Henry at tight end, Austin Eckler, that was perfect for him. Another spot before Phillip Rivers got signed there was Indy. And I feel like the biggest spot, and I'm not even talking from personal bias because I'm a Steelers fan, but I felt like Pittsburgh made the most sense.
Oh, yeah.
You have a running game. You have a great defense. You have a team with Mason Rudolph that almost made it to the playoffs last year. Right. Imagine with somebody of Cam's caliber, and even if Cam has to sit out this 1 year with Big Ben just to get healthy, I feel like with Big Ben, it's time to push him out the way. Like, you already know what he is.
And then also think about how Cam could thrive under Mike Tomlin, too.
That's what I said. A player's coach.
A player's coach who would be behind Cam all the time. He would be able to, he would be able to bond with Cam. I mean, that team, it would be a perfect fit. I mean, you can't think of a better perfect fit than Steelers. But there are also some good fits, like you mentioned, Jacksonville. He's starting over Gardner Minshew. Obviously, the Bears. I mean, come on now.
Bro, I forgot about the Bears. Bro, and that's another one. So y'all want Nick Foles?
Right. And then the Bears have a great defense. You have a great defense, a dynamic quarterback. You got some straight weapons. I mean, you get a few weapons, build a little bit in the draft, or make some moves, something. You could make something shake in Chicago. Indy, another great too. Got Marlon Mack, that good offensive line they invested in through the draft. Got a pretty solid defense. I mean, there are so many good fits for Cam. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's crazy. LA too, like you mentioned. I mean, it's so many spots where Cam. And then if you look at the quarterbacks that are succeeding now, Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, quarterbacks who can make plays with their feet when they need to, but also have a good dynamic arm. I mean, that's Cam Newton. Cam Newton was that guy before Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes were those guys.
He birthed them.
Superman was the OG.
Man. And see, Dylan, what I hate, especially with black quarterbacks, is memory loss. People forget. But then with these white quarterbacks, with Nick Foles, you bring up 2016, 2017. Or with Kirk Cousins, you bring up his one good year, I think in 2015 with the Redskins, and he lives off of that, literally.
Right.
But with Cam, you're talking about a guy who went 15-1 in it was 2016, right?
2015.
Yeah, 2015, he goes 15-1, check. Yep. After doing that, I think people forget that Kelvin Benjamin tore his ACL in training camp. Yep. So, think about this. Ted Ginn was his number one option.
That's correct. And look, that was pre-Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, Jonathan Stewart and Butterball Mike Tolbert at running back. Think about that.
Exactly. Took that team to the Super Bowl.
15-1.
15-1.
And then, Dylan, I just got to go on this quick rant.
Yeah.
When we look at his playoff time, like in the playoffs of that year, they almost put up 50 on Seattle, like Legion of Boom Seattle.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then, let's take it a step further. They played the 14-2 Arizona Cardinals in the NFC Championship, and the score is 50-14. With Ted Ginn as his number one receiver, and Jonathan Stewart and Mike Tolbert. And then he goes to the Super Bowl, and it's still a competitive game, and it proved in the Super Bowl that he didn't have any offensive weapons. Like, you can look at all the drops, everything, but then he's not an NFL starter?
And Caleb, you saying that actually just made me think about this. So the narrative right now behind Cam not getting signed is they're worried about his shoulder, right? They're all worried about his throwing shoulder.
Yeah.
But didn't the older, less dynamic Peyton Manning, who was coming off however many neck surgeries, get signed by the Denver Broncos?
And was trash his last year. Trash.
Was led by a great defense. Yeah. Was led by a great defense. Limped into that Super Bowl. And then they played the Panthers in that Super Bowl that they won. And he wasn't the reason they won. It was that Broncos defense. Peyton Manning only threw for 100-something yards. I know he didn't break 200. He was a game manager. And so you're telling me a dynamic dude like Cam, who we've seen be Superman, who we've seen run over people, run through people, have accuracy, throw the deep ball. You telling me a guy like that can't play and y'all are worried about his health when Peyton Manning got another shot after all those neck surgeries and he was older? Come on, man. Come on, man.
This is madness, and I feel like as a football fan, I'm kind of seeing what it truly is. It's like these teams would rather self-sabotage than to sometimes have a black quarterback. It's like they would rather not be, like, for instance, Chicago. You would rather go with nepotism and go with Nick Foles just because of the Matt Nagy connection than take a step back and say, hey, why not get a former NFL, not Super Bowl, NFL, which is harder. Bro, an NFL regular season MVP is harder than one game.
Oh, of course.
So you would rather pass on a 6'6", 260 NFL MVP for Nick Foles, who lost his starting job, and I know he got hurt, but he never got his job back in Jacksonville.
Nope. Yeah. You would rather take a guy like that rather than, Nick Foles, whether or not he's an upgrade over Mitch Trubisky, which he probably is, Nick Foles not selling any extra tickets. I'm sorry. Nick Foles isn't. So you would rather take the risk of, maybe, I don't care. Cam Newton selling tickets. Cam Newton boosting your ticket sales if the Chicago Bears, period. I don't think there will be any backlash behind signing Cam Newton. Say what you want about Cap. Even though signing Cap would be the right thing to do, too. Say what you want about the money. But signing Cam Newton would give you some extra ticket sales over Nick Foles. So you telling me you would rather have a mediocre team with a mediocre quarterback when you could get a franchise-type quarterback and be set for some seasons, sell some extra tickets, sell some extra merch? Because people going to buy them Cam Newton Bear jerseys if you went to the Bears or any team.
He going to be out there,
come on, man. So
he's 31.
It's self-sabotage at this point. Like, what are you doing?
Bro, he's only 31. He just turned 31.
And Tom Brady just got, what was it, like $40 million or however much, and he's past 40? Come on, man.
Bro, and Dylan, last thing on Cam, another team, and I felt like this was self-sabotage with a team that has a bad history with choosing quarterbacks. Denver. I felt like that was the obvious. Bro, y'all have Melvin Gordon, so you have arguably a top 5, top 10 running back.
Exactly.
Got Cortland Sutton. You just got Jerry Jeudy. You have a nice young up-and-coming tight end in Noah Fant. And then on defense, y'all just got A.J. Bouye and Jarrell Casey with Von Miller and Bradley Chubb.
Right. I mean, the pieces are there. You just need a quarterback. And it's such a quarterback-driven league. You can't tell me you're worried about – again, you can't tell me you're worried about Cam's shoulder at this point. You see, however serious you want to take the videos, his workout videos or not, I mean, come on now. You can't at least take a chance on him. At least sign him to your roster and give him a chance to compete for the starting. I mean, it just don't make it. It's almost comical that, that these teams are settling for these quarterbacks out here, the Gardner Minshew's, Nick Foles, Mitch Trubisky's of the world, when you got guys like Colin Kaepernick, Cam Newton out there, just sitting, waiting to get a job, waiting to be signed.
Yo, this really irks me, man. So let's say this, hot take. Does Cam Newton have a job? Or, scratch that. What should Cam Newton do? If you were Cam right now during this time, what teams would you be hitting up? And also, part B of that question, what would you do? Would you rather say, hey, I'm going to just sit it out and wait it out until somebody calls me? Or should Cam be reaching out to teams during this time?
I think Cam Newton should bet on himself. If I was Cam Newton, I would be hitting up. I'd be hitting up the Bears. I'd be hitting up Pittsburgh. I'd be hitting up New England too. I hit up New England. I mean, come on, and bet on yourself. New England's taken a chance on so many players in the past. I'd slide in New England DMs, whatever you gotta do, get your agent, get in contact with them, or whichever team, and just say, hey, I'm willing to take this number, a 1-year contract for this number, if you give me a chance to compete for that starting QB job.
Yeah.
That's it. Let him go for it in training camp. See if he can get it. If he's where he thinks he is, and if he's at where we think he's at, then he should get that job no problem over a Jarrett Stidham or Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles or whoever. So if I was Cam Newton, I'd do a 1-year deal, kind of like what Todd Gurley is doing. I'd use Todd Gurley as an example because it hits close to home in Atlanta. He's taking a 1-year deal, lower price, betting on himself, and he's going to see where that lands him. And if he does what he has to do, he's going to get a big money deal from probably somewhere else. And that's the same thing Cam could do. Cam just needs the opportunity to show that, hey, I'm still that same guy. I'm still that franchise caliber quarterback. So if Cam Newton, he's got enough money, I'm sure, saved up to bet on himself for a year and see what happens then. I think that's the best solution for Cam right now, because I think at this point, I think it's too far in, too close to the season. I think if a team was going to reach out, I think they would have reached out by now. He does have one more shot, and this is the case in training camp. If a quarterback gets hurt, maybe you reach out then, but that's still, an iffy shot. I think Cam Newton's best deal is to, bet on himself, take a small one-year deal somewhere, and, bet on yourself and do what you do.
Facts, bro. Facts. I love that. Now, man, let's get to another fun topic that I've been waiting to ask you, bro. So now you just about to be like my sports consultant, bro. So when it comes to the NBA,
yeah,
I've been listening to your takes, you and Simone's, bro. It's been awesome. And my question for the league is it smart for the NBA specifically to keep it going? Because my own 2 cents about it, I'm a huge Bron fan. I knew Bron would get a ring this year, especially. And what's so crazy about it is the week prior to everything shutting down, Bron had arguably the best week that we had seen. He beat Giannis first on Friday on prime time. And then he goes and beats Kawhi on Sunday, prime time, against the Clippers. And number one seed in the West, I think they were like 47-13. Everything was looking up and up. They were moving. Everything was looking nice. Yep. Yes, I think they lost to Brooklyn that Tuesday, but they were still like arguably the best team in the league besides Milwaukee. So when I got news, of course, that everything got shut down, as a Bron fan, I was hurt because all the Bron haters. Yeah. And then The Last Dance was coming out, so then everybody's forgetting how great Bron was. So then I wanted the season to happen. So when I heard about the bubble happening, and then, last week everything's picking up. But then this week I'm scrolling on IG. Jokic, coronavirus. This guy, coronavirus. And then with Black Lives Matter, everything's picking up. And I'm taking a step back, and as a true fan, I'm being real, and I'm saying basketball really isn't important right now. And two, so Avery Bradley, he couldn't play either. So it's like teams don't even have their full rosters anyway. So even if you do win, Bron, I'm going to be real. That's kind of an iffy ring.
Exactly. People are going to, with LeBron, people always love to say why LeBron didn't earn this ring or why this ring doesn't count.
That's going to be everything.
Exactly. I'm surprised more people don't say his first ring was an iffy ring because that was during that lockout season. But which is good. I'm glad people aren't saying that, but I'm just surprised that I didn't hear more of that.
Yeah.
And Simone was a Bron fan, so she mad too that LeBron not getting to show out. But honestly, as a basketball fan, selfishly, I would love for it to come back, and I wish there was a good, safe way for them to come back. But I just don't think there is. Like you said, you already laid it out. We got these guys testing positive for coronavirus, and there could be more, probably is more, and probably will be more. Stories just haven't gotten out yet. Because once you get in this bubble, one person is probably going to have it. Too many, again, it's a numbers game. Too many people on basketball teams, even if it's still less than, NFL, all that good stuff, but it's still too many people going to be in that bubble. Not one person contract it. If one person gets it while you're in that bubble, someone else in that bubble is probably going to get it. And, while if one guy from one team gets it, that whole team is probably going to get it. And then that can spread to the next team and the next team. So as far as coronavirus go, I don't think it works. And then add the Black Lives Matter movement to it, and it's not important. And I just think it's just time to shut it down.
Yeah.
Teams also aren't going to have their full rosters. You laid it out. The Lakers are already going to miss the starting shooting guard, Avery Bradley. While, yes, you go sign a J.R. Smith, still he has to get acclimated to his team. This, that, and third. I mean, it's just not going to.
And bro, we're talking about J.R.
Oh yeah. So I mean, like, come on, it's J.R. I mean, we know he forgot the score. But anyway, so yeah, I just don't think it's just not going to be the same. I just think it'll be better if they bite the bullet. Just wait until it's the right time to come back. Wait until this COVID thing, not necessarily wait till it's over because we don't know when it's going to be necessarily over. But wait until it's more manageable at least, and then wait until we see some change with the Black Lives Matter. Right now, everything is just there's too much going on, too much more in the world that's more important right now. than them getting back on the court, honestly. So as a bubble, someone else in that bubble is probably going to get it. And, you know, while if one guy from one team gets it, that whole team is probably going to get it. And then that can spread to the next team and the next team. So as far as coronavirus go, I don't think it works. And then add the Black Lives Matter movement to it, and it's not important. And I just think it's just time to shut it down.
Yeah.
Teams also aren't going to have their full rosters. You laid it out. The Lakers are already going to miss the starting shooting guard, Avery Bradley. While, yes, you go sign a J.R. Smith, still, he has to get acclimated to the team. This, that, third. I mean, it's just not going to be
And, bro,
the same.
we're talking about J.R.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, like, come on. It's J.R. I mean, we know he forgot the score. But anyway, so, yeah, I just don't think it's just not going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it'll be better if they bite the bullet. Just wait. Just wait until it's the right time to come back. Wait until this COVID thing, not necessarily wait till it's over because we don't know when it's going to be necessarily over. But wait until it's more manageable at least, and then wait until we see some change with the Black Lives Matter. Right now, everything is just there's too much going on, too much more in the world that's more important right now than them getting back on the court, honestly. So as a basketball fan, NBA fan, sports fan all around, it hurts me because I bet there is not one more person more than me who wanted to see that Lakers Clippers Western Conference Finals matchup in Staples Center.
It was inevitable, bro. It was inevitable. It was
inevitable, bro. It was gonna happen. And just think, if COVID would have never happened, we would have had the Staples Center packed out. And then mind you, they both played in the Staples Center, so all 7 games, however many games it went, the energies would have been crazy in there. I was waiting, I was itching to see that matchup. But there's bigger things right now. There's bigger things going on in the world. So I just think the NBA should wait. Will they? They're obviously not going to, but I think they should. So I don't know how it's going to look, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, and Dylan, honestly, too, when I saw about Morehouse recently today announcing that they're canceling all fall sports, that kind of showed me something. And I know I may be reaching here. But when that happened, that kind of clicked for me to say the NBA, they probably don't want to say anything just yet. But I feel like they're going to announce that they won't have a season or that there won't be any playoffs for this because, again, there's so many people who's coming up with COVID, like what you said, in the bubble. If just one person gets it, if you're in a contained space, a lot of people are about to get it. And then I just feel like from a player standpoint, and I think that y'all said this, and it was funny, it's going to be like an AAU game. So you really don't get a playoff experience. And then if you do win that ring, you never played on the road. You never had a home game. You never had a must-win game because there's never an away game. And there's never a home game.
And then there's no added pressure of the fans. People are going to itch at that. So it's just not going to be the same dynamic. And honestly, deep down, I know these players are competitors, and they don't really need fans or anything like them to get them motivated because, they wouldn't be at this level if they just strictly was driven off, fan energy, things like that. But still, you got to think they're thinking about that, like, oh, they're going to be fans. Like, this is not going to be the same. I mean, I know some guys are still pumped to go out there, but I think the guys will be okay waiting when it comes down to it. So I think I would be happy if they just said, you know what, we're gonna bite the bullet and we're gonna forego this season, let it be. I mean, that's their best bet right now.
Yeah, bro. And question as well, tell me if you think that I'm wrong. I was having this conversation with my brother, I think last night. I feel like this is the best thing that could have happened for Bron. Reason why I say that is even if he won a ring this year, dope. I would have been the happiest person in the world. That's 4 with 3 different teams. I don't want to hear nothing. But I feel like just like how this year he was so refreshed because they didn't make it to the playoffs last year, I feel like with this, his body is getting another break. And if the season is ended, and if they don't start until Christmas or even January of next year, you really only played half a season. So although you didn't get a ring that year, if he gets a ring this year, he can play another extra year. How do you feel about that?
I agree. I completely agree. You've seen it yourself. We saw it once it started back this year. LeBron was so fresh. He was able to play so many more minutes this season. I mean, he looked re-energized. I mean, and then obviously having Anthony Davis helps. But still, it's another, hopefully maybe off season for them to connect. And then you can think about this aspect as well. Add this layer to it. It's another. Even though I think LeBron pretty much got the team that he wants together, it's another year for you to build your team. You can deepen that bench. You can make that bench good because honestly, I mean, that Clippers bench was something serious, so now you can make that bench a little deeper or add another piece. You can do LeBron, and the general manager and, that Lakers front office can help build that team and make it even more set to make a championship run going into the next season. So it does help LeBron from, like exactly what you said. He gets more rest, even more rest. You get to build the team more, better the team how you can, and just go at it again. So I think it'll be good for LeBron. It definitely doesn't hurt, because it's not like there's nothing about this season is going to go against you. It was a crazy season. You get another added year, like you said, from getting the rest because you didn't play a full season. So I don't see how it hurts LeBron. Anything, all this just goes good for him.
Yeah, that's facts. Dylan, you are a sports savant. So let's get into your own thoughts on this because I'm very interested to know if you had to name your top 5 NBA players of all time, who would they be? 1 through 5.
Oh man, that's tough. All right, number 1. Well, no, I'll start at number 5. All right, so I have to go with I think I'm gonna have to go probably Larry Bird. I'll probably go Larry Bird at 5.
Okay.
He was just bad. I mean, his passing, his shooting ability. Yeah. I mean, he was a bad dude. Number 4, I'll probably go Magic Johnson. The greatest point guard of all time, so he has to be up there.
Hands down.
Number 3, I gotta go Kobe. I'm gonna have to say Kobe.
Thank you.
I mean,
somebody finally put Kobe in their top 5. Like,
I don't see how Kobe is not a top 5 player.
He's top 3.
Top 3 exactly. He is the closest. He is the closest person to Michael Jordan. He is really he's the only other person that had that killer instinct just like MJ did because he got everything he knew from MJ. And, I mean, he was pretty much able to reiterate everything MJ did. I mean, he got 5 rings. MJ got 6, so obviously MJ got 1 more, but Kobe's right there.
He played in 7 finals, though.
That's exactly. So Kobe's got to be a top 3 player in my book. That's why I got him at 3. Number 2, got to be LeBron. I mean, when you look at the longevity, going to, 8 straight finals, I mean, nobody else has done that. Going to 8 straight finals, taking that the 2015 Cavalier team to the finals.
Hey,
not
Simone,
only to the finals.
Hear it, Dylan. Simone don't want to hear it. I see it in the comments. She said, "Stop capping."
She'll be all right. But taking that 2015 team to the NBA Finals and giving them a lead, that crazy game in Golden State where he took that team with his next best player was Matthew Dellavedova.
Is he even in the league?
Over them? I don't know.
Man.
I don't know if he's in the league anymore. He might not be. Last time I heard, he was like playing for the Bucks or something. I'm pretty sure he's not on that roster anymore. So, but yeah. So LeBron James, just the longevity, his greatness, and what he's done. You got to take, some of the stuff. I take some of the stuff he's done off the court too. He's never had a slip up, when it comes to off the court, incidents or anything like that. He's, done great things for his community, obviously with the I Promise school.
Yeah.
And then, always speaking up, when it comes to this Black Lives Matter movement. He's always been at the forefront of that argument, even before, now. So LeBron James just number 2. I mean, just a great overall dude. Obviously, I think number 2 greatest player of all time. And number 1, I mean, got to be MJ. And then honestly seeing The Last Dance cemented it for me because, I mean, just the way he thought and just the way he thought and approached every game and just how hungry he was to get better.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing was going to stop Michael Jordan from being the best. And just his work ethic.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just ridiculous, on what he did and what he was able to accomplish. And I'm sorry, when you're 6-0 in the finals, when you're undefeated in the finals,
hard to beat, man.
It's hard to beat, man, because that is the biggest stage.
Yeah.
That is the cream of the crop. You're playing the best competition, the one of the other best teams in the league, obviously, and to be undefeated in that situation, I mean, that speaks volumes. So MJ's got to be number one. I mean, he's a killer, got that killer mindset, and so that just cements it at number one for me is MJ. But what's your top five, Caleb? I'm interested to hear yours. Yours.
All right, so I would probably say at 5, because usually I just focus on 3 most times. So I would say at 5, I like Larry. I'll probably say Shaq at 5 because I feel like he was so dominant, and like especially in the finals, like between '99 to 04. Like, I think one final he was averaging like almost 40 a game.
That's true. And I saw one stat line that was crazy too. I don't remember it exactly, but he had like 30-something points. I think he was like 15-something rebounds, 4 blocks, something like that. I mean, just dominant, man. Nobody was seeing Shaq in his prime. I mean, you couldn't do nothing with him. You couldn't do anything with him in his prime.
And imagine if he was just shooting 50% from the free throw line.
Right. Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
So, exactly. His only Achilles heel. So, I mean, he was still that dominant.
Yes.
And, I mean, so, yeah, I can't argue with you at Shaq.
That at 5. And then 2, man, and on top of all those great points that you just laid out, I feel like as well with Shaq and with Kobe, what no one talks about. I think Kobe got his first chip at, 22? Think about that. And the fact that they three-peated and went to the finals 4 straight times and almost 4-peated. Think about that. And they split. So imagine if Shaq and Kobe stayed together. Because Shaq, he got a chip that next year with D-Wade, or I think that year after. Kobe goes to go back-to-back when he goes with the Lakers in 2010, 2011, and lost, I think, in 2008 to the Celtics. So Kobe could have got 3. So I'm just saying, if they stayed together, I felt like Kobe would be considered the GOAT. And Shaq as well. Yeah. So then I'll probably say at 4, Isaiah Thomas. He doesn't get his credit, man. Isaiah Thomas beat Michael. Isaiah Thomas beat Magic, and he beat Bird.
Okay.
Think about that. Twice.
Okay.
Twice. And should have. Think about it. The Bad Boys Pistons went back-to-back and almost 3-peated, but they got cheated by a bad call that they said that somebody fouled Kareem. And if you look at the tape, nobody touched him. And the fact that Isaiah had a twisted ankle and dropped 25 in one quarter.
That's true. I remember that. Watching the Bad Boys documentary, seeing, them reliving that. That's true. Isaiah was bad, too.
And think about it. Besides Joe Dumars, who else was his offensive weapons? That's
facts, because Dennis Rodman wasn't doing nothing for him. Nobody else. Everybody else, Bill Laimbeer did all the dirty work. That's a solid point. I never put Isaiah up there, but you make a case for it.
And, bro, think about this. Think about this. To me, Isaiah is the second best point guard of all time. As well, if you think about with Zeke, Isaiah Thomas was different, man. Like, think about Jordan. Jordan couldn't get through him until the expansion era started, and I think the Pistons had to lose 2 of their players off their bench who were solid role players. Rick Mahorn, he had to go, who was like their leading rebounder, and I think it was one other piece. And those are their role pieces. And if you have a team that's not,
those are big pieces.
And if you have a team that's not a team of scorers, if you lose those rebounders, those big men who set the picks, that's a big change. Isaiah, he was getting older, and then when they finally lost to the Bulls go on to win, start that dynasty. But I felt like, true opinion, if Isaiah Thomas and Jordan came in at the same time, if they both had the same teams, Jordan would not have gone to 6 finals. I know that for a fact because it was proven that he couldn't even get through Bird. So that's my thing on that. I would probably say at 3, Magic, bro, to play in 9 finals, to have won 5 of them, and to have done it during the golden era. And then on top of that, to have gotten a chip as a rookie, and then you started at center to win the game, get the chip. And let's just be real. What if he never got HIV? Think about that. He only played for 12 years and went to 9 finals in 12 years, 5 chips. And then, bro, if you looked at The Last Dance, and that was a great history lesson, just like what you said, I appreciate that, Doc, because when I had the chance to see Magic play Mike for his first chip, and Mike talked about how they lost the first game, and Mike admitted because he was nervous, that shows you the type of power that Magic had. And think about bro, look at that roster that Magic had. They were trash. Trash. Blotty Divac starting at the 5. I don't know who was at the 4. Byron Scott, I didn't see like, bro, he didn't have that roster of the 80s, and that's another knock that I have towards Jordan. I feel like his timing as an athlete was the best timing that any athlete could have ever had. Because Bird, he had a bad back. And then Magic, bro, think about it. Magic got a terminal disease, bro. So he was completely kicked out of the picture.
Right, and at that, and not just got the terminal disease, got the terminal disease when it first came out, when people were dying from it. So he was fearing for his life at that point.
Right.
So yeah,
his career was cut short, and bro, we know this for a fact. If Magic was making it out the West with just himself, imagine if he had the opportunity to keep playing and they had a chance to rebuild that roster. I'm just saying, bro. So Magic, to me, he has to be at 3. At 2, to me. All right, so hold on. Back step. So I said at 5, Shaq. 4, I had Zeke. Magic at 3. Dang, it's getting tight. I would say I have to have a tie. I would say 2A would be Kobe, and 2B it would be Mike. I have Kobe. In my honest opinion, Kobe Bryant was a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. Reason being is, no knock, I love Mike. Like, Mike, his tenacity, like, I appreciate Mike. Unlike most Bron fans, I adore Michael Jordan because there would be no LeBron or Kobe without that example of Mike. But I feel like with Kobe, he doesn't get his credit. Like, when I saw ESPN had Kobe at, like, 8 or 9 in their top 10 all time, think about this. Kobe came into the league, no college experience, straight out of high school, 17 years old, 18 years old, and gets his first chip, not out of the East, but out of the West at 22 years old. Mike didn't get his first chip. Yeah.
Another good point to add to that too. He didn't have, and then Simone was actually talking to me about this when the last dance was going on.
Jordan, while he still was a great player, he had great, pieces in front of him. He had great mentors as well. He had Dean Smith. He had Roy Williams before he came head coach.
Legendary coaches.
That program. So Michael Jordan had some great mentors in front of him. Had great teammates. There was times where Kobe didn't have those great pieces around him, and he still put up those numbers. So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
And then too, man, I feel like this is one thing that nobody ever discusses. Because growing up, I was a huge Lakers fan, huge Kobe fan. What if Kobe and Shaq never parted ways? Like, yo, they went to 4 straight finals. They were just getting started.
That's true.
I don't know. I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. With Kobe and Mike, Kobe was 5 out of 7. He went to 7 finals. That's amazing. But Mike, 6 for 6. I feel it. I just feel like it should be context behind that argument. Because at the end of the day, I would say that when he got to the finals, if you saw who was guarding him, like I saw one time Dan Marley was guarding him, I'm like, bro, really?
Right. And then
Dan Marley?
That's true. The only point I would make for Mike is that Kobe got everything he knew from Mike. And then, we saw him say that in the documentary. We saw him say that. He said, everything you've seen from me came from Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
But Michael Jordan in front of, if there was no Mike, we don't know how Kobe would have turned out. Not to say he still wouldn't have been great, but we don't know if
that's true.
At, where it was. Because he said it on record multiple times. He pulled everything he got from Mike, stole his moves.
That's facts.
So
that's facts.
That's really the big thing that I have to put Mike in front of Kobe. But you laid down a great argument. That's everything you said was facts too. So it's they right there. Obviously I don't think anybody comes close to Mike rather than Kobe when it comes to, having that killer instinct, playing style, ability. So they're close.
Yeah, man. And then too, I would probably say number 1. Are you ready for number 1? You ready?
I'm ready.
Draymond Green.
You lying.
I'm playing.
I was about to be like Caleb. A sports man is yourself. cannot just sit up here on this live and say that and truly say that.
But
Get away
Bron,
for a
though,
second
man.
because you sounded serious.
Bron has to be at number one. I feel like, too, nobody gives Bron his credit for being a killer. Like, if you look at Game 6, when I think that was, in 2012, 2013, they come off of losing to the Mavs. It could be over playing against Boston. You go into Boston, drop 45, have arguably the best game of your life. We can go to Golden State, down 3-1, come back for that. Like, Bron has had some big, big moments that people kind of overlook. And I feel like LeBron is a killer as well. And, two, one thing, though, I will say, in this current moment in time, I would put Mike at number one because I have to show respect when it's due. Because for somebody to go 6 for 6, to have done what he's done, he set the precedent. But if LeBron, his story isn't over. But once Bron's story is over, if Bron most definitely gets that one more chip, I wouldn't say that you can say LeBron, Mike, or Kobe you can put over each other. I would say that evens out the playing field for all three. If you say Kobe, if he's your GOAT, I get it. If Mike, if he's your GOAT, I get it. Same for Bron. But I know if Bron gets that fourth chip, and hey, even if Bron goes back-to-back and gets 5, I feel like you can make an argument for either of the three, but I feel like everybody's top 3 should have Mike, Kobe, and Bron. It's only right.
Oh, yeah, no question. That top 3 has to consist of that. I don't see how you put anybody else in the top 3, from their longevity, the championship number, killer instinct, and, what just all the accolades that they've been able to, get and accomplish. I don't see how those 3 guys aren't in any, and it should be in everyone's top 3, like you said.
That's facts, man. Dylan, bro, before we get out of here, man, thank you for such a great, great conversation. Before we leave, where can everybody follow you, keep up with your work, and also, where do you see yourself within the next 5 to 10 years?
All right, first, everybody can find me at _Dylan Mathews 12. That's on Instagram, and that is on Twitter. I got a YouTube channel. Please check that out. Subscribe to it. Check out the vids. It's just Dylan Mathews, plain and simple. So go ahead and subscribe to that. And as far as where I see myself in 5 years, hopefully I see myself, on there at some sort of sports talk radio station, chopping it up. Hopefully with guys like you, chopping it up, talking sports, after this whole COVID thing's over, got a little bit of more normalcy. Maybe doing some play-by-play too. That's a reminder as well to do some play-by-play for, these major market teams. So hopefully doing play-by-play somewhere for some teams. And having a talk show on the airwaves. So that that's hopefully that's what's up with me in 5 years.
Hey, it's happening, bro. You already got the juice. I'm telling you, Dylan. Anytime you want to chop it up, man, about sports, anything, hit me up on live. I'm always available, bro. Always, man.
Same here, man. Anytime you want to chop it up, this was a great conversation. I definitely want to have more with you because you opened up my eyes to some stuff too. I've learned some things from you, man. So,
Isaiah Thomas, baby. Think about it.
It's all about collaboration, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad, got back in touch, and we definitely got to stay in touch now. So anytime you want to chop it up, definitely hit me up. I'm always here for you, bro.
My God, man. Likewise. Sir. Dylan, stay safe out there. You and the fam. Be blessed, bro. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Be blessed, man. Stay safe out here, and I'll see you soon, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Take it easy, bro.
Yes, sir. My man Dylan, make sure that you guys support him. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Caleb Smith, blessed to be a host of the 3 Million Podcast. Millennial Master Class Series is going crazy. We love y'all. Keep doing what you're doing. Peace.